August 16th, 2026. Dear passive me, have you ever had one of the days where nothing seems to go right? It just seems like the universe is somehow against you, like it's been plotting against you? That has been my day. I woke up in a panic and then got back to sleep. And then I woke up in a panic again, and my husband was gone, but I could have sworn that he had gone to bed next to me. And I kind of was just really disoriented. And he comes back in, and I ask him if he would go get me a donut, and he obliges. And he comes back with a donut and a coffee, and I proceed to get ready to leave the room. And I remember talking to him about it because the idea was he sleeps better when I'm not in there. And I'd made a comment about it. And he always tells me that it's because I sleep with the TV on. And if I would just turn the TV off and not make a sound, essentially, he'd be able to sleep. And I remember laughing it off because some people sleep better with their spouse and some others don't. And I just happen to have one that sleeps better when I'm not around. So I go to the couch with the dogs and make myself a comfy spot, and I lay down, and sure enough, I drift back off to sleep because I'm so tired. And a couple hours later, I wake up and decide that I need to take care of things. So I take care of the dogs when we go outside, and we walk around and check them out and just kind of linger. No big deal. And then I come back into the house and I decide that it's time to get some work done. So I come into my office, I sit down, and I start to work, and all of a sudden my power goes out. Not like the breaker, but like the power in the whole entire house. So instead of getting work done, I sat here for a moment and contemplated what I was going to do. And my dogs were laying in here and they were snoring beside me, and I decided to take a page out of their book and lay down for a nap. So I went to my room, and my husband was like, "What are you doing? Are you coming to lay down?" And I said, "Yes." And I laid down, and I swear I went right to sleep. The power got turned back on sometime while we were sleeping, and his alarm goes off, and I turn it off because he doesn't wake up. No big deal. And then I go back to sleep. And then when I do finally wake up, it's like 4-ish in the afternoon. I get up, then I come into my office, and I'm just kind of trying to get a grasp on what today is supposed to look like now, because nothing has gone according to plan. And so I'm sitting here and I'm kind of collecting my thoughts, and I decide, well, I have to do the grocery shopping, so may as well get that taken care of. And I ask my family, does anyone need anything? And they give me their list, and that's how it usually works in my household. I do the grocery shopping, I find out what everybody wants and needs, and then make the list or order the groceries. And today I decided, you know what, instead of picking them up, because usually I have them delivered to the house, I said, I'll just go inside today and do some shopping. Okay, so I asked my husband if he wants to go do that with me. He said yes, and we go to the store and we get things on the list that we need. No big deal. We come home and we unload it. I'm putting things away, and he goes and he sits down in the living room. I ask him if he's busy. No, he's not busy. He's just sitting there. Do I need help with something? Well, you could start dinner. So he comes into the kitchen and he starts dinner, and I come back to my office and I was done, and I'm just kind of, again, sitting here spacing things out. Because for whatever reason today, I haven't been angry or upset or sad. It's just passive. It's the best way to describe it. There's no alter emotion. Like, I'm not comfortable but I don't know how else to describe it. For me, I know that when I'm in these passive headspaces, it's the calm before the storm. It's me brewing over all the things that I think that are happening, the things that I think that I'm hearing. And so rather than address it, I sit with it and go about my day. And so he makes dinner, and by the time dinner's ready, we all sit down to eat. I remember asking him, what his plans were for the rest of the evening. And he told me what his plans were, and then asked me what my plans were. And jokingly, I asked again, well, I'm going to have to ask you again what your plans are. Because what I wanted for him to say was that he wanted to spend time with me, doing something with me, because that's what Sundays were supposed to be for, except he acknowledges that he overslept today, and that didn't happen. And so the joke was, okay, so if we spend time together, what are we going to do? And tonight, I just feel like being pampered. I don't know. I don't know if it's about being pampered or the fact that means that the attention is on me. He can't very well do something else while he's pampering me. But that's my mindset. And so I joke about it, and I rub my feet up against his, and he goes, oh, do you want a pedicure? And I said, oh, thanks. You want to give me a pedicure? That'd be great. I love that. And he laughs and says, you could just ask. And I said, well, you could just offer. And I think there was words that were exchanged there that were never actually said. Because all I know is when the conversation was said and done, I no longer wanted to be pampered. I just want to go to bed. When I get into those headspaces where I don't want to fight, it's dangerous. That means I'm writing off a lot of things. That means I am closing up shop and preparing for the end. It means I don't care. And it's not because I don't want to not care. It's just easier to not care. And so even as I sit here and I process all of that, I know that I can go back and have that conversation, right? I can go back and say like, hey, this is how this came across to me. This is how I internalized it. This is what my thoughts were. This is what I'm feeling. But I know I won't. Not because I'm vindictive and not because I want to fight, but because I don't see the point. I don't feel like it's going to go anywhere. I don't feel like it's going to be helpful to me. And so I just sit passively. I know that I'll go to bed and I'll feel some kind of way. And I will scoot to the edge of my side and curl up with my teddy bear and pretend like someone's holding me, because it'll help me calm down and go to sleep. But it won't be me pretending that's my husband. It'll just be a way of disconnecting. And then tomorrow, or sometime down the road, you'll hear me write in my journal that me and my husband are disconnected and I don't like the way our relationship is. I know that I play a part in that. I don't know how to get off the roller coaster. I don't know how to stop it. I know that in these moments where I feel like I have to defend myself for wanting something, or wanting the kindness that comes along with someone wanting to do something with me, that I hole up and I get really frustrated, because then I feel like I'm having to beg. I don't want to beg. It starts to feel like I'm asking too much. I'm wanting too much. I have these requirements that can't be met. And I don't know if that's actually true or not. It's just how I feel. My piece of pie today was not letting everything consume me. Despite the things that happened today that were out of my control, It wasn't a bad day. It felt good to take a nap. It felt good laying on my couch and watching TV. I used to do that often, and I enjoyed it. It's been a really rough 24 hours. I was talking to someone last night and talking about hanging out in my office with the dogs and setting up a mini fridge so we would never have to leave. And they're like, oh yeah, you and your 3 dogs. I only have 2. I lost my 3rd dog back in June. And just those words made me tear up. I felt sad. I felt lonely. I wanted to be held, but I knew there was no one available to hold me. My husband was playing poker. It wouldn't have even made sense for me to ask him. He wouldn't have left. He was busy. So I do what I usually do. I distract. I find something else to keep my mind busy so that I'm not focused on what I'm actually feeling. And it worked. Until it didn't. And then something else happened, and it overrode the comfort I had built up to forget. And at that point, I just checked out and said, I should go to bed. And again, I went to bed last night, my head hit the pillow, and I was out. Because it's not just that I was physically tired, it was that I was emotionally drained. I didn't know what to do with any of my emotions anymore. And so today, I was just passive. I didn't fight. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. It's almost like I didn't feel at all. I just watched the things happen to me versus being a part of what was happening. It's a very dangerous place to be in, to be passive. It's almost kind of like an out-of-body experience because you watch something happen to you without acknowledging what it's doing to you. That's my day. I'm watching my life happen versus participating in my life today. And I'm sure I'll process that more tonight as I go to bed and I try to go to sleep because that's what my brain does. And I will find some way to soothe myself. I will find some way to overcome the dark thoughts and ideas that nobody likes me, nobody wants me, I'm not needed. I will argue that with myself, and we will see which side wins. Recently, the more positive side has won. And while I don't feel angst, anger, I know that there's something lingering, but I'm gonna have to address. And I'm not gonna force myself to do so. I'm not going to ignore it. I'm going to keep taking steps forward. I recognize that today not letting it consume me was growth. I recognize that instead of fighting and just saying, you know what, I'm gonna let it just live there for a while, it's growth. I'm not gonna act on it. I'm not gonna yell or scream or fight. I'm not gonna pack my clothes when I want to. I'm not gonna run when I want to. I'm going to just breathe and then wait for tomorrow. See what comes of it. Because as much as I remind you guys, I also have to remember it's one day at a time. It's not linear. It's all over the place. So tonight, you are feeling passive, like something's bubbling underneath. Know that you're not alone. It doesn't always have to be explained in the moment. Sometimes we just have to sit with it until we can figure out what's coming or what's happening. And today, that's my day. But I'm still okay. I'm still here. I'm still present. I'm still alive. I can still feel myself and hear myself. I'm just not as participant in my life today as I would have liked to have been. So for those of you who understand exactly what that feels like, for those of us who struggle with feeling like that far more often than we don't, welcome to the club. It's not the most popular club. It's not the most fun club. But it's a club of people who are working just as hard as you to survive the day. So, just remember, today is another page in the story. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be written. And before you close your journal tonight, ask yourself, what was your bite of pie today? Until tomorrow, love you loud.